Hey guys, it's Ross. So I want to do a video for you guys on pruning because we're doing a winterization series of fig trees, and if you haven't seen all the videos in the winterization that I've been talking about, you can go back and you can look at one of my playlists. So in just my YouTube channel, you can go back and see different playlists that I have created, and in this playlist will be every single step that I've done in winterization. What is to come after pruning these guys in the order, because I put out a video for you guys on the plan, the process, what everything is going to happen, in what order it's going to happen. Right now we're at pruning the figs, and then we're going to put them away next weekend in storage. And those are the container figs. We're also going to go around to the in-ground figs and talk about what I'm going to do to the in-ground figs, but most of that's going to happen after Thanksgiving. A lot of you have been asking me, when should I wrap my trees? When should I wrap my trees? Well, like I said, after Thanksgiving. Probably sometime in mid-December is really a good time to do that, at least where I live. So anyway, for pruning, we're going to be doing this tree here. It's called Cavalieri. And Cavalieri, you can notice on this tree there's a lot of these really small growth points here. Really thin straggly wood here, and this is kind of a nice, not a nice characteristic, this is a bad characteristic of this fig. It likes to branch out, grow wild. I mean, I don't know historically if this is going to happen every year with this tree, but this year it certainly has done that. And for me, in a colder climate, I like to grow my figs a certain number of fruiting branches per the amount of soil you have in your container. So this is about a 7-gallon container. I can have a max of 7 fruiting branches to get production on this tree. So this branch here is like the perfect thickness. This branch fruited for me this year because it was the right thickness. It had the right size. It was great. These other branches here, total waste of space. They didn't even grow that well. They're just very thin. The production wasn't there. So even though this tree was a 7-gallon sized tree, because I didn't limit the number of fruiting branches, because you can see all these little small growth points, only really 2 of these branches fruited for me this year, and that was it. I got maybe 6 figs off of this tree. A late season fig, but the way that I had pruned this was just not correct. And I talk about a video that I did in the beginning of the season. My most important tip for productive fig trees is this principle: limiting the number of fruiting branches you're allowing your fig tree to have. This can be totally different where you live, how long your growing season is, if your tree's in the ground. This is mainly a principle for people who live in colder climates that are growing in containers. Another trick to get an earlier crop is that if you really wanted these trees to fruit earlier, we'll leave this tip on here. See this apical, this is the largest tip, this is the growth point, this is where the leaves come out of if this tree was still growing. If you leave that on, come spring, the growth from that point will be much stronger. Why? Because this is the apical bud. Most of the auxins are at the highest point of the plant, suppressing the growth below. So that's another rule of pruning, is that when we do the pruning here, and when we're arranging these trees, we want to make sure the height of most of these branches is at the same height, because if one is obviously much significantly taller than the other, you're going to have a problem, and these lower branches are not going to put out the amount of growth you need early in the season to then put on those fruits, that main crop. So those are really the principles, and now let's just get to it. We're going to be snipping off these really this thin stuff here. We also want to form a nice little triangle. See how this tree is actually a bit lopsided? If you were looking at the tree, this is exactly where it is. It's literally facing you guys in a horrible way. Look at how this tree is trained. And I purposely have 3 stakes in here to try to get this thing straight, and it just won't budge. So if you got a tree like this, and you're like me and you have your trees really close together, you don't want your tree growing into the other tree. So what I'm going to do is kind of just let this happen. It's really difficult to fix at this point because of how strong this trunk is and how old it is. So I'm going to leave the trunk the way it is, but I'm going to try to get growth to grow this way. So this branch, even though it's quite thick for me, I may actually just cut the whole thing off, which is a bit sad, but I think what I'll do instead is actually prune this little thing off here and prune this growth off. So then that way, this branch is kind of growing more towards the direction I want and not towards this direction. Now, what that does is, if this is going to be a nice branch for me next year, this branch right here is right below it and it's growing in the direction I don't want. So we're going to take this out as well. We'll just put these down here because we need to label them as we prune them. And this here is a bit of a weird thing. See how there's 3 different points here? I would recommend, because I want this to kind of branch out this way, so I would recommend taking this whole thing out, this whole thing out. And I know we want earlier fruits, but I want this thing to branch. So we have to take off the apical bud. Just like that. And I made actually an improper cut. See how I cut into the bud there? I damaged that bud. So we'll cut even lower there. It's not ideal, right? But I would, for the future, want this branch to branch out. And this one as well. That's my goal next year with this one. Is we're going to take this back to about here. Again, trying to focus on these all being a similar height. And that's it. So out of this tree, we really only have about 3 cuttings. And, you know, that's what we got. So this will branch out next year. And remember, this is a 7-gallon container. So the maximum I want, and it seems like this tree doesn't grow super well historically. So maybe if it doesn't grow that well, instead of 7 branches, and it's a late variety, sort of a late variety, I may actually limit that number to 5 rather than 7. So if this is 1, 2, 3, from here this will turn into at least 6, right? So this is 2, right? This will be 2 because it'll branch out this way, branch out this way. This one will branch out again like that. So I have a total of 6, which is a pretty good number to get nice thick growth early in the season so that my main crop can form on that nice thick wood and I'll have a decent crop that way. So let's move on to the Italian 258 tree. I want to give you guys a couple examples of different trees. Okay, so this one here has got a beautiful form. We pruned this one last year and the form was already beautiful at the time. I really heavily pruned this thing back because the person I got this tree from didn't really prune it all that well, so I heavily pruned it to get the shape and the direction. See how we have, if you kind of pan around the tree, you kind of have branches, guys, in each little direction. So if we imagine this tree as a square, right? This direction, this branch here goes out into the corner of a square. This branch goes out into the corner of a square. So do these, and so does this. Now this one's in the direct center of the square, which I left it here because I wanted more fruiting branches. But ideally, I should actually get rid of this branch and kind of have this open center. That way we're kind of eliminating any excess. We get better airflow that way, and that way we have less rust. We have a better form. There's not anything shading out each other, which is not, you know, competing. We've got a stronger tree that way, more energy that way, you know. So it's pretty important that we're spacing these branches out. And you can see here I've kind of tied these branches because this variety, the way it was growing was that these branches were much more downwards, and I wanted them to grow up, because if I'm going to keep this branch here with this branch here, this one's a lot lower, isn't it? So by bringing this up and tying this to the other branch, I've been able to train this upwards now, and that's a great start because we wanted to keep this branch, we wanted to keep this one as well, and again, by tying them, we're now bringing them up. Now the only thing I want to do to this tree is really bring the height down. That's really it. So we're going to take this back. You know, that's really it. And from here, it's going to branch out even more. So I think what I'll do is I'll take one more from this branch, and then that way this thing can kind of branch out in the direction I want it. And we'll do the same thing with this. In fact, I may even just take this whole thing out. If I think about it a little bit longer, I probably will. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to move on. This thing here, I like how this is branched out. See how this is going in this direction, this is going in that direction. This should be good. This should be good. The only thing we're trying to do at this point is to get this to branch out at the right height and to get this to branch out at the right height, and I'll probably take this out. So if we remove this, that means we have 2, 4, imagine 2 branches here and 2 branches here. We have 8 fruiting branches for next year, which is a little bit less. I think it's about the same amount that we had this year. Actually, it's 1 more than we had this year. So this tree fruited for me perfectly this year. I had 7 or 8 fruiting branches. This is about a 15-gallon size pot, and on every single branch, you saw this tree, guys, during the year, was covered from fruit head to toe. So that's what I want, right? I don't want fruit sparse. I don't want fruit here and there and here and there. I want it covered from the bottom of the branch all the way to the top, and that's it. Why do we want this as well? Not just for production reasons, but we want to make sure that at a certain point of the season, the growth is pretty much stopped. And I've made a pretty big mistake this year, and you'll see it in some of my trees here. You know, you can't really see it with these, but if I take you guys on a little trip, you know, this tree right here is a perfect example. So this tree had basically stalled throughout the entire year, and then you can see all this new growth that came out. And this growth is very, very green. And look at the time of the year it is. This is not a time of the year that I want any growth to be green at all. So I want the tree to really stall its growth for the entirety of the year. Otherwise you get growth like this. That's just too green. See what I mean, guys? So that's the goal, is to get our tree really to stop growing at a certain point. Now, this tree we're also going to do for you guys, really simple. There's 2 figs in the same pot. This is a little bit different. You know, this is kind of similar to how I would do a frankenfig or how I would prune a frankenfig. This is Coldedon Roja, and this is Violette Dauphine. And I like Violette Dauphine, how it's kind of branched out. This one, though, is kind of going into the other tree. So I think this branch here, we're going to take that out, and that's it. What I may do is actually take this out as well, and then take out the tips. So then that way this branch outs like that, and this branch outs like that, and this little straggly thin thing probably won't do a whole lot. So I think that's what I'll do, right? See what I mean? We basically have the nice Y shape. And if you get down, the trunk is the bottom of the Y, and then it V's out into the top of the Y, and that's what we've got. The last thing to do, take off the tips. It'll branch out here, branch out here. Next tree, Coldedon Roja. This is a weird one because Coldedon Roja didn't grow exactly as well as I wanted it to. This growth down here is completely useless because if I'm going to keep this and keep this, this is doing nothing but taking away energy from the tree. So we're going to cut this off. Be careful of your tags, guys, and not to lose your tags. And then this branch here is much higher than this. So again, come in here like that. And that may be the only thing I do to this tree. So again, it's a similar shape, right? You got the Y shape. It's going to branch out like this, branch out like this, branch out like this, branch out like this. And this whole tree now will have a nice little canopy of fruiting branches for me next year. So that is pretty much the video, guys. I hope I made this clear and understandable. You know, I think regardless of where you live, if you're growing them in containers, you're gonna have to make sure that you are limiting the fruiting branches. Your tree is only gonna get so big. Your tree only has so much energy, and by limiting the branches, because that's where your fruiting happens, right? It happens on the new wood. So if you do that, you're gonna have a lot more production, a lot more success. And I wish you guys luck, and let me know if you guys have any more questions about this. There is one thing I want to mention. You can see on the wood here, there's still plenty of sap flow in some of these trees, which is really not good. If I didn't have to get these trees in next weekend, they would stay out here another weekend, lose the sap faster, and then that way all the sap would go back into the roots. I wouldn't be losing any of those carbohydrates, and then that way the tree would actually wake up stronger, better, and it would grow even faster. So if you're doing this for production reasons, and you're not doing this for cuttings, you're not selling cuttings, you're not trading cuttings, wait until the tree is completely dormant. Wear gloves. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care.